Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, September 29th, 2020. If you'd like to join in, are we doing the phone call?
No, we don't have a phone call today.
Okay. I'm John Hutchings, the chair of the board. Also present is Vice Chair Commissioner Ty Menser and Commissioner Gary Edwards, County Manager Romeo Chavez, and Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell, as well as the clerk of the board, Amy Davis, and I believe I saw Brian Dominique, one of our PIOs, and Megan Porter, our PIO, in the house as well. Have I missed anybody, Romero? I'm sure I have.
No, I think you covered, Commissioner.
Okay, good. So I'm calling a meeting to order, and the first thing to do is the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Vice Chair Commissioner Ty Menser.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And with that, is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
Move to approve agenda for Tuesday, September 29th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Tuesday, September 29th, 2020 agenda. Are there any amendments or changes, corrections, additions? Nope. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that motion carries. Thank you. And the meeting minutes from September 22nd, 2020.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve board meeting minutes from September 22nd, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting minutes from September 22nd, 2020. Is there any corrections to it or changes? No? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Thank you. Next on the agenda is presentations, and we have for emergency services. And we have Kurt Harden, the Director of Emergency Management Services. Hello, Kurt.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Kurt Harden, Director of Emergency Services. And I want to talk with you about the requested proclamation for Flood Awareness Week. Many people have forgotten that we started off this year prior to the pandemic with a flood, the Nisqually flood in January and February. So it's appropriate to go ahead and have October and have the week of in October of Flood Awareness Week. One of the things we're stressing this year is financial mitigation. One of the things I wanted to bring and talk about as well is in Thurston County, we have a community rating system. It's what we call CRS, a community rating system of 2. And I will tell you that the CRS effort is led by CPED staff in Thurston County. And what that means is there's over 1,700 communities across the country that participate in the community rating system. Only 8 have achieved a rating system of 2 or 1. And what that translates to in our Thurston community is that National Flood Insurance Program premiums, people who have flood insurance, can save up to 40% reduction on their flood insurance premiums. So that's a direct result or money back into the pockets of those with flood insurance inside of Thurston County. So I just wanted to talk about the efforts of the CPED staff as well as the emergency management staff in that area. We've translated that into over $100,000 worth of savings to residents in Thurston County who have flood insurance in 2019. The activities that we're going to do this month for Flood Awareness Week, we're doing a TC Media Zoom presentation to include flood messaging. On the week of October 12th, Flood Awareness Week, we're going to do a test of the TC Alert system, Thurston Community Alert, to those people who are signed up for river alerts and river flooding or warnings. A flood bulletin was mailed out in September to those who live in the designated flood zones and groundwater flooding. And then we're going to conduct virtual Map Your Neighborhood training, all through virtual process through Zoom training opportunities. And then all during the month, we're going to be messaging, sending out messaging to remind citizens of winter weather preparedness and flood insurance. And then while this isn't related to flooding, on October 15th at 10:15 a.m., we will do the Great Shakeout, where we're going to ask people to drop, cover, and hold as if there was a seismic activity going on, what we normally would call earthquakes. And we're going to be putting this messaging out through our social media or under our communications plan. We're partnering with CPED and the PIOs to put out media releases on winter weather and flood preparedness. And again, like I said, we're going to be doing social media and virtual map your neighborhood training. And then I'm going to make an attempt with my limited knowledge of Zoom to share my screen and show the website and the phone number that we can use, that people can call in or contact to get more information on Flood Awareness Week and winter weather preparedness. Hopefully you're seeing that now. So subject to your questions, I would request that you pass a resolution for Flood Awareness Week here in October.
Good job on getting your slide up. Any questions or comments of Kurt?
I think he's done a good job.
Or Chris Chapeau? Okay, anything else? Dane Ty? Commissioner Mentor, anything?
No, I support this resolution, or proclamation, I should say. I'm the representative for the county on the Chehalis River Basin Flood Authority. And I get a firsthand, I work with Lewis County and Grays Harbor leaders, and I get a firsthand look at the problems that are facing communities that haven't taken, the efforts of planning and preparedness that I think Thurston County kind of got on the front end of some years back. And now they're facing, a potential $1 billion dam project in an effort to try to mitigate massive flood vulnerability that those communities face. And we're part of that process, but we really don't face the same risk and vulnerability because of hard work of Thurston County over the years. So this is good for folks to have in mind, and we're connected to it, even as a regional partner. So it's something, and we saw what happened in Nisqually in January. So this is something that's relevant and very much should be in the public's forefront of their mind.
Very good. You're going to read the...
If you're ready, I'm ready to go. We've got...
I'm ready, sir.
Okay. Thurston County Flood Awareness Week. Whereas Thurston County has experienced disasters in the past, and scientific evidence indicates the county remains vulnerable to natural and human-caused disasters in the future. And whereas loss of life and property damage can be significantly reduced if citizens are prepared for disasters, including readiness to be self-sufficient for a minimum of 2 weeks, and take appropriate measures before, during, and after disaster. And whereas floods are the most prevalent natural hazard in Thurston County, with 18 federal disaster declarations since 1962, related wholly or in part to flooding. And whereas the citizens of our county should be educated and prepared for flood safety and property protection measures, and county agencies, along with employees, should be prepared to provide essential public services after disasters and be prepared to support the county's response and recovery mission. And whereas Thurston County promotes that citizens obtain disaster-related information through the county's alert notification system, fact sheets, training, the annual Thurston County Flood Bulletin, the county website and social media sites, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association Weather Radio, which includes emergency alert system broadcasts. And whereas in partnership with federal, state, and local partners, Thurston County's top-rated floodplain management programs have helped reduce flood damage and encourage property owners and residents in flood hazard areas to obtain reduced flood insurance to be better prepared financially in case of flooding. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of County Commissioners hereby proclaims the week of October 12th, 2020, as Flood Awareness Week in Thurston County, state of Washington, and urges all citizens to take steps to prepare for the impacts of natural and human-caused disasters in their homes, businesses, and schools, adopted this 29th day of September 2020 by the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners.
Good job. I might add, Kurt, that over the weekend, we had a birthday celebration at my house, and we had close family over only for a barbecue. And my daughter, when she came down with her family from Seattle, when she walked through my garage, she said, "My God, Dad, no wonder there's There's shortages everywhere. You're hoarding. Because I'm a county commissioner. One of my charges is emergency management. We're supposed to stock up for a few weeks. I'm prepared. So thank you very little for getting me in trouble, but keep me prepared.
Thank you.
So congratulations on this as well, and CPED. And you'll get that proclamation suitable for framing.
We'll make sure it gets distributed.
Great, thank you. Next is the opportunity for the public to address the board. And I will call your name off in the order that you signed up. And it looks like we've only had one person sign up. And respectfully request again that you remain respectful, and nothing about land use issues that could come before the board. And Romero will cover no electioneering, but you're limited to 3 minutes each. And Amy Davis will be keeping track of the time for us in the boardroom. So the first one, and the only one I have on the list, is John Pettit.
If I may, for the citizens who are planning to provide public testimony today,
Thank
I would
you.
like to encourage them to refrain from making any comments that can be considered electioneering. Thank you.
So when you step up to the podium, please give your name and where you live in the county. Thank you.
Yes, my name is John Pettit. I live on Rich Road in East Olympia. Today, rather than just my usual talk about budget and wondering what those sales tax figures are, I understand those will be coming out and being told about come Thursday. What I want to talk about is a draft ordinance that the Thurston County Commissioners, you as a board, are going to be making or deciding on. Well, the first thing I want to mention to you is that I think this needs some more consideration. I believe that it is that the Black Lake Special Use District is a district which is a legislative body that makes decisions completely within their own district. I don't believe that you have the proper authority to overrule them or make decisions about what goes on within that district. As such, when you have a draft ordinance that applies to only a portion of that district, 179 lakefront owners, you are creating a sub-district. I don't think you have any authority to create a sub-district. While you may want to approve a bonding measure in the future for them, I think it has to lay completely on the burden of that Black Lake Special District to make all determinations as to applications, fees, and assignment of responsibility for those fees. Now, I've taken a closer look, and I think part of your resolution or your ordinance would include an Exhibit A of specific properties. Those properties are not under the jurisdiction of Thurston County Board of County Commissioners inside of the Black Lake Special District. So I think it needs to be revamped, remove any connotations towards specific properties, and that would need to go directly to the Lake District to be making decisions. Now, I also understand the premise of how they approached it, and I dropped off copies of several resolutions that were made by the district and how they basically are addressing some of the issues. If you notice on the very last page, you'll notice that it's their intent to reduce all lakefront rates reduced by 72% of what their normal rates are, and then they plan on adding on the special assessment in terms of a structure. Well, earlier today, I certainly heard that this special assessment is in addition to. It has nothing to do with the current current rates. I think that before the board gets involved, particularly in the structure of another legislative organization, you need to step back and make sure that you're only doing the oversight and not internal involvement within that district. I encourage you to delay your process, give more consideration, and or just reject what's being presented here now. Thank you.
Is there anybody else on Zoom, Romero, that would like to testify or address the board?
No, sir.
And no one on the phone?
No, sir.
Okay. Then public comment is over. And move on to item number 2 on the agenda, county manager's update.
No, I don't have any specific updates, Commissioners. I believe I highlighted some of the public testimony you received lately this morning during our agenda setting.
Yes, sir, you did. Okay. So agenda item number 3 is a consent item. And the only thing on the consent item is A, the voucher list. And for a
Make a
motion.
motion to approve consent item 3A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve 3A of the agenda, the voucher list of September 14, 2020. Any questions or polls, anything regarding that? No? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Agenda item number 4 is CPED, Community Planning and Economic Development, setting a public hearing. And we have Chris Chabot. And you're muted. You got it.
I got it. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. I am here today to ask the board to set a public hearing for our open space properties. I'll give you a bit of background. Open Space Tax Program provides an incentive for landowners to keep their land in open space state. The Board of County Commissioners oversees 2 categories of the 4 categories of the county's open space tax program. Properties enrolled in open space program receives a tax reduction for their current use valuation rather than the highest and best use. This results in a tax shift, but there is no impacts to the total amount of property taxes collected by the county. This year, there are 4 applications in review. 2 applications are from the property owners who no longer meet the eligibility requirements of the assessor's farm and agricultural open space program and have applied for the Board of County Commissioners open space program, and 2 applications for properties where portions currently enrolled in the assessor's designated forest land open space program, which will be reclassified to the Board of County Commissioners open space program. The classification of this land as open space and subsequent tax relief to the landowners is consistent with the county's strategic initiative number 7 to balance development with the preservation of the county's rural character, natural areas, and open space. The Planning Commission has held a public hearing on August 19th of 2020 and made a recommendation to the board to approve all 4 applications. Today, the staff is asking for you to set the public hearing for those applications. And that is it.
Okay. Any questions of Chris Chabot regarding this public hearing? Nope. Okay. Thank you. Is there a motion?
I would move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, October 20th, 2020 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter at the Thurston County Courthouse, room 280, building 1, to accept public testimony on 4 open space applications, open space tax program applications.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set a public hearing for open space tax program applications. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 5, Public Works, setting a public hearing to receive public comment on the updated Parks, Open Space and Trails Plan, or the POST plan. And do we have Carrie? Carrie Gibson,
Yes.
our Parks Manager, Operations and Maintenance Manager.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Here today to ask to set a public hearing to receive public comment on the updated Parks, Open Space, and Trails, or otherwise known as the POST plan. A little background on that. The public hearing will be to take public testimony on the proposed POST plan. It's an update to the 2013 Parks, Recreation, Trails, and Natural Resources Preservation Plan. This document acts as a guiding program management document for the county's parks and trail system. An adopted POST plan allows for the receipt of grants to make improvements to the parks and trail system, to ensure adequate recreation land is available to serve future needs based on growth projections. An outreach effort was conducted to solicit citizen input regarding the current state and future needs of the county's parks and trails system. Based on citizen input, growth projections, and current park property inventory, a new level of service is proposed in the post plan. On March 4th, 2020, the park's level of service outlined in the post plan was reviewed by the Planning Commission and was incorporated into the county's comprehensive plan. A public hearing was held and the Planning Commission moved to forward a recommendation of approval to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners. The Recreation and Conservation Office, that's the granting agency that has grants available for the parks, have reviewed the draft post plan and provided written confirmation that it meets RCO requirements for grant eligibility. As such, Public Works is requesting a public hearing to be set for October 27, 2020, excuse me, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard, to provide the public opportunity for public comment.
Thank you, Kerry. Any questions or comments for Kerry regarding this?
Yes.
Regarding this?
Well.
Go ahead, Kerry.
Well, yes. Regarding parks, I want to point out that the man is tenacious. Our railroad overpass, underpass, whatever you want to refer to it as, Kerry worked on that for like over 5 years and completed a heck of a project as part of our trails. So, Kerry, thank you. You do good work.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that. That trestle that you're referring to burned down 27 years ago, and the county's been looking for a way around and a way to remedy that all these years. And like you stated, we finally accomplished that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, good job.
Commissioner Minster, anything for Kerry?
No, I really enjoyed going through the plan. It's very well done, very nice update, and I encourage the public to take a look at it.
And good use of the word tenacious, Commissioner Edwards, because Tenacious D is popular, but I think Tenacious K is also very popular here locally with all these. Kerry, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Is there a motion?
I move to set a public hearing for October 27th, 2020, beginning at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard, in room 280, building 1 of the Thurston County Courthouse, 2000 Lake Ridge Drive, Southwest Olympia, Washington, to accept public comment on the adoption of the updated park, open trails, open space, and trails plan, post plan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set a public hearing to receive comment on the post plan. Any further questions or comments? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you.
5B is an ordinance regarding the role of special assessments for the Black Lake Special District. And I believe we have Water Resources Program Manager Tim Wilson with us. There you are, Tim. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tim Wilson, Water Resources Manager, Public Works. Staff is here today requesting the Board of County Commissioners consider an ordinance approving and adopting a rule of special assessments as petitioned by the Black Lake Special District to address water quality treatment options. To review the history of this proposal, the governing board of the Black Lake Special District has petitioned that the Board of County Commissioners authorize issuance of a $1.4 million bond to address water quality issues within the lake. Per 8538, issuance of a bond is discretionary and does not make the county liable for issuance of the bond. Also per RCW 8538, the special district must receive authorization from the county legislative authority prior to issuance of such bond. The county's role procedurally, should the board choose to proceed, per RCW 8538 consists of 4 specific steps. At any step along the way, the Board of County Commissioners may choose to stop the process. The first step in this was that the county shall prepare a preliminary system of assessment to service the proposed bond. That was done in conjunction with the Black Lake Special District. And we put together a special assessment, a role of special assessment that would result in $103,000 per year in revenue, which was needed to service the bond over a 20-year period. The second step, which was for the Board of County Commissioners to advertise for and hold a public hearing to hear comments on the preliminary system of assessments. That public hearing was held on July 28th. The third step, which we're at today, is that the Board of County Commissioners, if they chose, would approve an ordinance adopting the special assessment or an amended special assessment. And should the ordinance be adopted, the last step in the process would be for the board to consider a resolution authorizing the governing board of the Black Lake Special District to issue the bond. So I wanted to speak real quick to the public testament that was given a few minutes ago regarding the special assessment and the resolution that was passed by the Black Lake Special District earlier this year. So in order per RCW, in order to service this bond, the bond cannot be serviced by the operation and maintenance fees that are charged to the ratepayers. It has to be done through a special assessment. So to that end, there's two actions, one by the Board of County Commissioners, and that would be to approve the special assessments to fund the bond. There could also be a second action that would be taken by the Black Lake Special District, and they've indicated that is the path that they are looking to move down, and that would be to reduce the O&M fees that are currently being charged to the Black Lake Special District by roughly $80,000. So while we're looking to raise a special assessment of $103,000, they somewhat simultaneously are looking to reduce their current fees by $80,000. Obviously we don't have a role in that, but I wanted to speak to that, and that's been the indication that the board has communicated to us, the Black Lake Special District has communicated to us. So with that, if there aren't any questions, we would like to recommend that the Board of County Commissioners move to pass an ordinance approving and adopting a role of special assessments as petitioned by the Black Lake Special District to address water quality treatment options.
Anybody have questions? I saw your hand first. Commissioner Minster, go ahead, sir.
Question for Tim. Tim, could you elaborate a touch on the special district? My understanding is that it's the only one of its kind in Thurston County, this form of a special district for a lake.
That is correct. As far as I'm aware, they are the only special district within the county that is involved in lake management.
And did we form the district, or did the citizens that live there form it, or request to initiate formation?
The citizens of Black Lake, as I recall, submitted a petition, I believe in 2013, if memory serves, to the Board of County Commissioners to form that board. But it was a petition that came from the residents.
And can you describe how decisions are made by the special district? I mean, in terms of the commissioners and how they're selected and how many there are, et cetera?
Yes, I believe after the Board of County Commissioners authorizes formation of a special use district, elections primarily the Board of County Commissioners appoints a governing body, and then within a certain amount of time, I believe it's 90 days if memory serves, elections have to occur within the Black Lake Special District. So that occurs, there is a duly elected governing board that is elected by the residents of that district, and they are the governing body for that board.
Thank you.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes, sir. Tim, do you know once this tax, this assessment, or whatever we want to refer to it as, once it is put in place, can it be repealed?
Well, you know that answer?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I have the answer to that question.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know that that's been,
That's fine.
yes.
Robin Campbell?
You do have, Romero, were you going to say something?
Well, we got Robin Campbell on here as well.
Okay.
Romero may want to, I defer to Romero.
Okay. No, I can't hear you, Romero.
Sorry. You had similar conversations when you were considering the assessment on the Thurston County Conservation District. When after you establish for a certain period of time, you would not be able to repeal that. And those are the conditions in which the legislative authority has when you, because the assessment that you may consider with this action has a financial backing for a potential bond, and the Board of County Commissioners cannot take that ability halfway through the time. So you will not be able to, you do not have that ability to take that back after the special use district has issued the bond after you approve it. So then you cannot just take the financial ability to pay the bonds.
Okay, so I guess the answer is that it cannot be repealed. So that means that the obligated property owners are the property owners are obligated for the next 20 years to participate, should this pass, to participate in that tax.
Robin may want to add something.
Pardon?
Just a nuance to that.
Yes.
If the special district were not to issue a bond, then the special assessment would not be necessary and could be repealed. But once they issue the bond that this assessment is paying for, then they're locked in.
Okay, thank you. Tim, do you happen to know, it's a special district for, Black Lake Special Use District. Can we, through an action, or can the governing board from Black Lake, can they create a sub-special use district within that district? Is that permitted under the law that you're aware of, or anything like that? I mean, I'm just questioning, we're going to have two, it seems like citizens are going to be treated differently in that district if this was to go through. Some are going to pay more than others. Now, they might get better benefit. They get the aesthetics of looking across the lake or something. I'm not going to argue that, but it looks like we do have a situation where we're creating a sub-special use district. Are you aware of any authority or anything that allows for that?
No, I'm not aware of any authority to create a sub-special district. I am aware of the process for creating a special use district and the board's authority for that. Anything beyond that would be a question for the legal team.
Okay. I guess, has that question been answered? I guess I'll direct that to the county manager as part of my questioning. Do you know anything about that, sir?
You just asked that question today.
I know that. I know. I just asked. Well, I just heard about it myself, and I'm nervous about it. So
as far as I know, and I'm not here to provide you with the legal opinion, there's the Black Lake Special Use District. I don't believe have the ability to create a sub-district.
Well, we don't even know if it is a sub-district, really.
Well, but again, I just want to be clear that I'm not an attorney, and the only thing I can tell is my limited knowledge. The special use district doesn't have the ability to create a sub-district.
Okay, then maybe another question would be, and I don't know who this is going to go to, Robin or Tim, maybe having worked on that. But it's my understanding there's going to be some kind of a reduction or a potential reduction in charges to some of the property owners that currently pay in. And then there's going to be an expansion of costs to others, a reduction to some and raise money to others. And I don't know, there's some question, 72% and 26,000 and things that I don't really truly understand. But is that right, Tim? Is there going to be a reduction in rate to some, but others are going to pay more?
Well, I can only speak to what has been indicated by the Black Lake Special District, and I'm looking at Resolution 20-01, which was passed in February of this year. And what it appears to do, as I read it, is it looks to take the 179 parcels. It looks to apply the $103,000 special assessment to those parcels, but then looks to simultaneously reduce the O&M, the current rates and charges for those parcels by $80,000. So they've indicated that those are the steps that they are going to take. It's a bit of a promise for us, and we can't speak to whether that will actually happen or not. But per the document that I'm reading, that seems to be the indication of where they want to go.
Oh, okay. Well, then you said you don't know whether or not it will happen. I guess it may or may not, and I don't know what legal authority this elected board has, but in all deference to this elected board, they may have that authority, but I don't see anything definite that some people are going to get a break and others aren't, and there's going to be some changes in the rates. And I guess another piece of this, the resolution that you're referring to is signed by 2 of the elected board members, apparently. I don't see a third signature. So we have the same situation here on our current Board of County Commissioners where 2 is a majority, so that makes it legal, I guess. But so if 2 went along with it there and 2 go along with it here, we've got a pretty substantial commitment to the citizens of the Black Lake area based on, 4 people. Now, we were all elected, and so was that board. So I'm recognizing all that they're there to do what's best. But this thing is so convoluted. And then kind of to top it off from my perspective is, I don't think this does enough to benefit water quality when it comes right down to it, especially when we hear about the state owns the lake and why don't they keep it clean? Why don't they help more? I realize they have a parcel there that is a boat launch, but what that parcel does is bring hundreds and hundreds of non-lake dwellers to use this property this lake, and I don't think we get enough benefit. The property owners that are paying high taxes as it is don't get enough benefit to keep their lake clean. And then we've got past history of it being a logging community with sawmills and sawdust dumped into the lake. I mean, this has all been over 100 years ago, but decomposition of all the organic material that's kind of pushed into these lakes. I'm just not sure that if we obligate these taxpayers to 20 years of quite a substantial sum, and then we come up with something else down the road that talks about, well, we could do a better job, but we need to collect this or that. I'm just gun shy about this whole thing. I appreciate the governing board out there and what they're trying to do. I'm just not comfortable that we might incur some liability on this whole action because we have a lot of unknowns that, you know, staff has said, well, I don't know, and I don't blame them. They can't know everything, but we should have legal staff that can advise us with some certainty that we're doing the right thing. And I just, I'm gun shy. That's the bottom line. So I would ask my seatmates at least to postpone this until we can get more answers to see what about these I don't know, the questions that I've asked that basically we don't know about. And I realize some of them are news. This is not a slam to our staff or anybody. This is just a process that's taking place here. And I'd hate to have the county move forward and then find out that, well, we did something that was illegal and we indebted this group and now we're responsible, and that's all. I commend the community out there and our staff for working with them, but I just don't think we're there yet.
All right, Tim, did you have anything in response? I've got a couple questions.
Yeah, I think I can speak to three or four of the questions there. First, on the authority of the special district to set rates and charges, it's very clear in the RCWs that authority does rest with the special district to set rates and charges. It's also clear in the RCWs that in considering rates and charges for operation and maintenance and considering special assessments, they do have the authority to weigh benefit of particular parcels within the district. And that's been a question that's been asked of our legal staff and I believe answered previously. The benefit to the lake, I would just say that it's been communicated to us that there was apparently considerable due diligence in determining what the costs of doing the water quality improvements that they want to undertake would cost. And I think that played into the scenario by which they are looking to reduce their operation and maintenance rates. I think there is quite a bit of background that the special district went through to determine that the funding amount. And in liability, as far as financial liability, I'm not an attorney, but I've heard Elizabeth speak, and as I read the RCWs, it seems very clear that the board is authorizing the district to be able to go out and issue this bond, but it's clear in the RCWs that as far as financial liability, the county isn't bound to any liability there. So I know there are probably more questions there, but that's what I can tell you.
So my questions, Tim, I think you might know the answer to this, and you've already kind of hit on it. Does the Black Lake Commission, the Black Lake Special District, do they have their own legal advisor? Yes, they do. They have their own attorney. They work very closely with org support, which offers, I believe, Robin may speak to this, but offers administrative support, legal support. And I know there was a considerable dialogue before this initiative was undertaken between their attorney and the county's attorneys. Okay, and that was the next question. I'm exceedingly comfortable that they've read this, their legal staff, and helped formulate the wording and put it together and have reviewed it. And our legal team, Elizabeth, has read it several times, I would imagine, as well, and gone over this and addressed many of the concerns and questions that have come up from the public over all the things that have come into question. And the fact that only 2 commissioners signed the resolution, to me, that just tells me only 2 commissioners signed the resolution. That means nothing more than that. Whether somebody abstained, refused, was ill, it doesn't say anything other than that. So that doesn't cause me a concern either. And so with that, and I appreciate all the legal advice, there's one thing I can say that Commissioner Menzer cannot say. I'm not an attorney. That's it. I'm not an attorney. And I'm satisfied with all the legal eyes that have gone through this extensively over the last several months. So with that, I'm ready to move on. Is there a motion?
I move to adopt an ordinance approving and adopting the role of special assessments to address water quality treatment options effective January 1, 2021, and expiring December 31st, 2040, as petitioned by the Black Lake Special District.
And I'll second that. Now, so it's been moved and seconded to approve and adopt an ordinance approving these, I'll just read it. Approving an ordinance approving the adopting the role of special assessment to the address the water quality treatment options effective the dates given 2021 through 2040 as petitioned by the Black Lake Special Use District. Is there any further question or discussion regarding this?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'd like to explain my position very carefully. I put a lot of time into this issue. One of the considerations is that the Board of County Commissioners has a very limited role here. This is what I would call a process of hyper-democracy. This is a process where citizens, the county deals with dozens and dozens of lakes and, kind of takes a broad brush and consistent policy across lakes. But when citizens that have their own community want to make their own localized decisions, Washington state law gives them that prerogative. And I respect that. And they've done that in Black Lake. And unless they're doing something that's just completely out of the box, just as a starting point, I'm going to respect that hyper-democratic process. We were elected, but they were elected by their own community for a very specific purpose. And so for us to step on that would be disrespectful of that process as a starting point. But a group of citizens raised a number of concerns, and they formed a group. They called themselves Citizens for a Clean Black Lake. And I know many of the individual members of that group. I share many of their values on environmental protection and water quality. So I considered very carefully each of the concerns that I heard through each one of their different communications. I have tens of emails, voicemails that were reaching out with different kinds of concerns. I put their concerns into some subcategories, and I had to do my due diligence. I am a lawyer, but I'm not a lawyer in this area of law. I know nothing about any of this. But I did have a sit down with multiple staff members. I had sit down with our prosecuting attorney's office about the formation of district. We had a sit down with the Department of Ecology about the powers of a special district because there was a question raised about that. So the first question that was raised, concern, was that there was a concern that this special district did not have the power. Well, first, that it wasn't properly formed, and that was not true according to legal counsel, laid that to rest. There was a more, I put a lot of time into the issue of does the statutes governing this type of district limit them to flood control activities and preclude them from engaging in water quality activities? Department of Ecology said absolutely not. And they cited me to some RCWs that, and again, I've offered this in the past, but I'm happy to put this in writing for my own benefit and for the citizens' benefit, just so they knew where I was coming from. I put those RCWs in writing. I'm happy to provide this to anybody that contacts me so you can see it for yourself. Maybe Ecology's wrong, but this is their interpretation of the powers of this special district. And a special district works directly with Ecology. Citizens came back and said, no, they changed their mind about that. So I recontacted the same person and said, one of the citizens said that you've changed your mind. That wasn't right. I said, absolutely not. The interpretation I gave you is our interpretation. So part of Ecology believes, right or wrong, that this district has the power to engage in the activities that it's proposing. There was the issue raised about the financial liability of the county. Tim touched on that. Robin has touched on that. We do not take on financial responsibility. And then there was a late issue raised about alum treatments potentially killing fish. right out of the gate, never excited about having to dump something that's, artificial into a water body. But the National Association for Lake Management group and the Washington State version of that group, which are respected organizations, both say that this can be an effective and safe treatment if done properly. The example that was provided to me of, I guess there was one lake where it went terribly wrong because they put way too much in and something of that nature. But by and large, this is used. It's been used in Thurston County multiple times. It's planned to be used on, I think, Long Lake and a couple of lakes that are actively planning to use it. It's been used in California, Seattle, different places. So there are certain circumstances and certain ways to do it, and I'm sure that the Black Lake Special District will follow those protocols. And then the final question was, is this just a Band-Aid? Commissioner Edwards alluded to this a little bit. Is this just a Band-Aid and we really need a long-term approach to better managing this lake? And I think that could be, that's true to a degree. Staff had kind of educated me on the nature of these lakes, how they have some internal phosphorus loading issues. I'm not going to go too deep into the science. Again, I laid out some of it, the input I got from our staff on this. If you want to contact my office, I'll give you what I am relying on. But we do need to look at stormwater management. We do need to look at septic management system, and I think increase our scrutiny of those to make sure they're functioning properly around these lakes. And then we have other issues of circulation of the water. It's going to be a challenging problem no matter what we do. But this is an acceptable short-term approach. I'm not certain it's the approach I would take if I was on the Black Lake Special District Commission, but I'm not. And they have been elected by the public to make these decisions. They're not doing anything that's out of the box. And so I respect this hyper-democratic process, as I'm calling it. And I'm authorizing them to take the steps that they've decided to take for their lake.
Ditto. So with that, it's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, that motion carries. Agenda item number 6 is County Manager, the Budget Amendment 5 appropriating additional COVID funding.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Robin Campbell, Assistant County Manager. This afternoon, I have 3 budget items for you, and we will begin with the Budget Amendment number 5. This is an appropriation of additional revenue that is coming into the county. There are 2 revenue streams that I'm asking you to appropriate this afternoon. The first is additional coronavirus relief fund, federal CARES Act money that will support the county in response to the pandemic. There is $5,718,000 going to the general fund that will be passed through to support community efforts to support small businesses, agriculture, childcare, assistance for utility payments, and just generally used to support our community and help to get us through the economic downturn that COVID-19 has caused. $5,900,000 is also allocated from the Coronavirus Relief Fund by the state of Washington to public health. That funding will be used to support health efforts in response to the pandemic. The county has also received a small amount of funding from the Administrative Office of the Courts of the state of Washington to support district and superior court efforts. It will in part be paid to support our effort to open an off-site courtroom. The county has already obligated over $1 million toward that effort. This additional 230,000 will be used to pay rent once our CRF funding expires and for other costs associated with that court space. The other non-COVID funding that is in this amendment is $6.4 million that is a pass-through for our TCOM 911 center. The citizens passed an increase in taxes that are collected on behalf of TCOM 911. They come to the county and we pass them straight through, and we need appropriation authority for that. So 6.4 million for TCOM 911. If you look at the details on this amendment, there is an increase in the general fund of just under $6 million in revenue and an exact same amount increase in expenditure authority. In the other funds, it's 12.3 million increase in revenue, and again, the same amount in expenditure authority. No fund balance is being spent in this amendment, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
The commissioners have any questions of Robin regarding this?
Well, I don't want to act like I don't have any questions, but we've been covering it for quite a while now since that CARES funding came in. It's a lot of money, and I hope we've got it right. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you. I hope we've got it right too.
Anything, Commissioner Menser?
No, these are, just like Commissioner Edwards said, these are the technical adjustments that flow from the many discussions we've been having, and anyone who's been watching the commission has been tracking. So this is just to get the legal pieces in place.
That's following all the direction from the board as well. So thank you for that. Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve the resolution to adopt Budget Amendment 5 for the 2019-2020 biennial budget.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution to adopt the budget amendment number 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Next is 6D, I'm sorry, B, Bravo, repeal biennial budget process for Thurston County.
Yes, Commissioners. So RCW 3640-250 permits the county to establish a biennial budget process. The county did that beginning in 2017. So 2017 and 2018 were a biennial budget. 2019 and 2020 are a biennial budget. But the law further allows for the board to repeal the biennial process at the end of a biennium. And that's the proposal that is before you today. I would say that the biennial process was working fairly well, and we were transitioning into a more stable process. But with the pandemic has come a ton of uncertainty. And part of that uncertainty is the ability to forecast into the future the amount of revenue that will be available for spending in the county. So by going to an annual budget instead of biennial budget, that will allow the board the most flexibility. So as you move through the budget in 2021, you are not making any commitment of either additional spending in 2022 or reductions to 2022. You're preserving that flexibility as you consider a budget next year and not locking yourself to any position right now. So to be able to get back to that annual budget process, you need to repeal the resolution that was passed in 2016, and that is the motion before you today.
I might add, this was done in concert with input from all the elected offices and department directors. And so with that, is there any questions of Robin? Nope.
No, sir.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Move to repeal Resolution 15325, which established a biennial process for Thurston County, and convert to an annual budget each year commencing after the end of the 2019-2020 biennial budget. And the annual budget adopted for 2021 shall be adopted no later than December 23rd, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to repeal the biennial budget process for Thurston County. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'd like to,
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Commissioner Menser.
I just want to make a couple of comments. For me, this is kind of dealing with two different questions. One is to, as Robin said, address the incredible uncertainty and hopefully create a better budget for 2022. More work for ourselves in 2021, but to get a better result in 2022. And that came with the input of the elected officials, as Commissioner Hutchings pointed out. It was also an opportunity to, and I'll just put on the record, I intend to support a reimposition of a biennial process early next year. But that will this gives us the opportunity to reorient that to a non-commissioner election cycle, which was, I think makes a lot of sense and was a request of all of our elected officials and who were giving us input about this and department directors. So I think it's just going to be a win-win, a little more work, but worth it and warranted by the uncertainty of the pandemic. So just want to put that on the record.
Thank you, sir. With that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Aye.
aye. Okay, opposed? None. Passed. Thank you. And next is 6C, Budget and Fiscal Principles.
Thank you, Commissioner. The last item that I have for you this afternoon is budget and fiscal principles. As we wrapped up last year's budget process and launched into preparation for preparing the budget for the ensuing fiscal year, one of the items before the board was a review of budget and fiscal principles that were adopted by county commissioners in 2008. As you reviewed the principles that were in the resolution from 2008, some of those were outdated and some of them were framed in a way that was, quite frankly, unattainable. So the exhibit before you today, Exhibit A, replaces the budget and fiscal principles that were in the resolution from 2008. And I would suggest to you that the goals you have in this resolution are achievable over the next 3 to 5 years, and create a foundation for sustainable financial management into the future. So just very briefly, these fiscal principles are to establish minimum ending fund balances for the general fund and other fund. They evaluate program outcomes, which will be reviewed to support budgets in the future. You are contemplating the establishment of a rainy day fund. That is part of this resolution. There's a principle around the establishment of enterprise funds that support themselves and the fees that support them. And there is the goal to maintain our bond rating of AA, or perhaps do things that will move that up. There's a principle that we will not use one-time revenue to support ongoing costs. These are all best practices in financial management, and I am very pleased to put these before you today and proud to be working for a board that would adopt these principles now and in the future.
Thank you, Robin. Are these budget and fiscal principles posted online then on the county website?
They are available as part of the agenda today, and we will post them on the budget website.
Perfect, thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
No, sir.
Commissioner Menzer, go ahead, sir.
Assuming the board approves these principles, this will be one of my proudest moments as a commissioner thus far. Take very seriously the commitments I made to voters when I ran for office. And one of those commitments was to strengthen financial practices in the county to improve our long-term fiscal health. And I think that we've done that in this document. And I commend my seatmates for working with me on that. And even we adopted these, or we preliminarily adopted these earlier in the year before the pandemic. And then the pandemic hit, and it took us a while to get back to them. And I was a little concerned, first of whether we could, stick to certain principles and goals, and then whether we would, have the stomach to do it. And we did both of those things. We tweaked them a little bit, and we extended timelines a little. But I think the core financial principles were left intact, and I'm very proud of that. From increasing our target fund balance to starting a reserve fund that we've never had before, to reaffirming our commitment to balanced budgets. These are very important things that are going to guide us into the future, and I think the board can feel very proud of adopting this today. Thank you to Robin for walking us through it.
Commissioner Menzer, you're welcome. Thank you for your comments. Commissioner Edwards, anything, sir?
No, sir. Ditto.
All right. And is there a motion?
I would move to replace Resolution 14179 Exhibit A with the budget and fiscal principles set forth in the revised Exhibit A attached to this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the budget and fiscal principles. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Robin, thank you for the last three items, and thank you for the work on this as well.
Thank you, Commissioners.
6D, resolution to define role of the county manager.
Thank you, Commissioners. This resolution of the Board of County Commissioners is intended to clarify and define the roles of the county manager in relation to the Board of County Commissioners and individual commissioners, as outlined in Exhibit A of this proposed resolution. The purpose of this document on Exhibit A has the objective of to ensure the efficient and effective delivery of county services by outlining the role of the county managers in relation to the Board of County Commissioners. The document acknowledges elected offices in the county, and these are not subject to this document. Something to point out, this particular resolution makes a statement that this resolution does not supersede any applicable Washington state laws governing the role, authority, and responsibility of the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners and individual commissioners within. This Exhibit A includes several areas which defines the relationship between the county manager and the Board of County Commissioners, outlines the ethical responsibility of the county managers, outlines the responsibility of county staff in relation to the Board of County Commissioners, and lastly outlines the access of information related to employee personnel files. I can get into additional details, but I think I have covered with you in detail the details of this resolution, and I'm open for any questions that you may have.
Commissioners, any questions or comments? Commissioner Edwards, no.
Oh, adequately covered.
Commissioner Menzer?
Just to say that I just leave it at the fact that that I had significant input and back and forth with some of the provisions here, and I'm comfortable that it's a good clarification of some of the roles for county.
Thank you. And I as well had input onto some of the wording. And didn't think we'd have to get to this, but we're here. So thank you for that. Is there a motion?
I move to approve a resolution adopting the roles of the county manager.
Second.
Been moved in second to approve the resolution to define the role of the county manager. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Romero, is this posted on the website, on the county's website? Or will it be?
It will be. We just need to find the right place to post it.
All right, thank
And I
you,
will
sir.
share with the appointed directors tomorrow.
All right, thank you. 6E on the agenda is the commissioners reporting back on our work sessions and committees and assignments and such. And I'll start with Commissioner Edwards. Do you have anything, sir?
Just my normal committee assignments, and I guess maybe two things. Well, fire commissioners, but then that goes into Friday. We had a conference call with the United States Department of Agriculture with the Forest Service reps about wildfires in the situation that we've been facing. That was a little different. And then yesterday, the Thurston Thrives Coordinating Council for Commissioner Menser, and everything was standard in there except one thing, and I'll throw in Carrie Hibbins in on this discussion as well, because it was brought up by somebody there that the county and the railroad did a lot to get that trail overpass put in after 20-some years. I might just point out that the county did a lot and the railroad did the work, but the county taxpayers paid for that whole thing. And it was quite a commitment on the county's part to get that accomplished. And so Commissioner Menser, if you hear that the railroad did us any favors, you might you might know that that isn't exactly the way it happened. I don't want to talk down to them. I'm glad we got it done, but I tried for 4 years basically to get them to help us out on this deal, and I guess I wasn't a very good negotiator, but Kerry did a heck of a job. I just want to take that opportunity to point that out as he's leaving county employment, because he was an exemplary employee that worked hard for the citizens of Thurston County.
Boy, didn't they? Commissioner Menser.
On that point, I was at the last week of the Salmon Recovery Council, and there was a presentation about a big project that was done north of Seattle on the shoreline that involved railroad collaboration, and everybody was staggered that what they were able to accomplish, and everybody wanted to know how are you able to get that level of collaboration with the railroad? It doesn't always happen. So anyway, I had a very busy week, possibly the busiest week I've had since pandemic. Just kind of ticking through my list of activities, and these are above and beyond my committee assignments. Attended the Olympia School District Principals Emergency Fund Breakfast. They were able to meet their goal of $110,000 raised, which is fantastic. Attended the Climate and Clean Energy Work Group, Thurston Thrives. Attended a evening event with the Rochester Chamber. Attended the wildfires webinar that Commissioner Edwards alluded to on Friday. Had a meeting with the new CEO of Providence, Darren Goss, about issues of mutual interest. Had a meeting with one of the PUD commissioners about groundwater protection concerns in South County. Had attended the Nisqually Watershed Festival online on Saturday during the day, and which was fantastic. What a great job they did of putting that all together. Just probably the best online event I've ever seen. And in the afternoon, the youth climate leaders had a listening session for elected officials to it was basically the top officials of the different high school climate action groups kind of spoke about their concerns for an hour and a half or so, which was really inspiring and good. That evening was the Nisqually Land Trust Gala, an online event, and I think that was very successful. attended the state auditor's exit exam on federal grants for the county, which came out very clean and good for the county, and then attended a subcommittee, informal subcommittee I'm attending on the Thurston Climate Mitigation Plan Phase 3, where we're trying to sketch out how we will take our Phase 2 plan and actually get it implemented and how that might look. So brainstorming with other leaders from Olympia, Tumwater, Lacey, and Thurston Regional Planning Council.
Wow, thank you. My week consisted of attending the Economic Development Council board meeting and the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administration organization. I forgot to report last time regarding the Habitat for Humanity, of which I'm a board member, participating in their silent auction and participating in the silent auction with the SPSCC. And then met with Treasurer Jeff Gadman and DES, the state enterprise services, regarding the Capitol Lake Deschutes Estuary Funding Group mechanism and what is going to be coming perhaps down the road. And also attended the state auditor's audit of our financial services. And as you'll see, that this is the 29th, and Thursday is October 1st, which culturally and traditionally is an exceedingly scary month. And you'll realize that when Romero announces our work schedule for the week, because we're beginning budget all month long, budget. It'll be scary. So with that, I'm turning to the county manager, Romero.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. And thank you for stealing my thunder.
Oh.
Let me walk you through your combined schedule of the meetings that at least two commissioners will be attending in the upcoming week. You have individual appointments on your individual calendars, and those will not be part of my report. Nothing for the rest of the day today. Beginning tomorrow, Wednesday, September 30th at 2 in the afternoon, you have a briefing related to the state of the Public Defense Office. Thursday, October 1st, 9 in the morning, you have a budget work session. There may be three items the staff is going to be briefing the board. One, hopefully we'll have some update on the sales tax. If not, then we'll continue to seek for that information. The next item, staff and Robin will walk you through the script as to what you should be expecting in the upcoming budget briefings that you have scheduled for the next 2 weeks. And the third item, there's something just came up, is related to the implicit price deflator. And that is what is used to calculate the property tax levies. There has been a change, and obviously related to the pandemic, I assume, they could change the dynamics, and that will bring options to the board as to how you like to exercise the property tax levy in 2021. So those are the main three items that we may have for you this Thursday. Then following up on October 1st at 10 in the morning, you have your regular commissioners check-in. I will provide an agenda ahead of the schedule. Then at 1 in the afternoon, October 1st, you have your regular Superior Court update, followed by 2 in the afternoon, an update on the comprehensive plan activities. Nothing on your combined schedule on Friday, October 2nd. Moving on to October 5th, as Commissioner Hutchins stated, then you'll begin budget presentations at 10 in the morning. You have a WASAC virtual assembly at noon, and then you'll convene back again at 1:30 to continue budget presentations. And that schedule takes you all the way through Friday, October 9th, except for Tuesday, October 6th, well, you will have your regular Board of County Commissioners meeting and your regular agenda setting. That's all I have for you.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to look to my seatmates. Is there anything for the good of the order?
We're doing pretty good. Right on time.
We are. And I want to wish our county manager a happy birthday.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you all. And this meeting is now adjourned.
And the Assistant County Manager's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Yep, that's right. Tomorrow. All right. We'll be back.
Happy birthday, Robin.
Happy birthday, Robin. All right. Bye-bye.